Hey, Sandy. Very, very active front court with Aaliyah Boston and Alyssa Smith. You've already seen them twice, but what challenges, unique challenges, does that pair present?
Well, I think they're getting better and better. Boston's just really establishing herself down low, and they're putting the ball into her, and she's being very aggressive on the offensive boards as well. And I think Smith she just continues to get better. She had a bit of a, they took her out of the starting lineup, but since she's been back into it, she's got a higher engine. She's playing with a lot of confidence.
Hey, Sandy. It looks as if Indiana is using Boston more in the short roll. I know this week you guys have talked a lot about just getting your communication right on the pick and roll. What's going to be something you look for the group to sort of like get right in the early stages?
Yeah, I suppose a lot of other teams are playing in the drop coverage and the short rolls, what's open. I think Caitlin and Boston have getting real good chemistry there, and she's working on a floater too. So for us, it's more about, positioning it. We're up to touch. We don't plan to drop that much. So let's see if they'll get as many short rolls as other teams.
Sandy, you've talked a lot about how the offense is a work in progress. It's a process. Is there a point in the season when, if you don't see it clicking, you would start to be concerned and maybe need to adjust?
Not really. I mean, it's gonna work. In the end, it's we've missed a lot of open threes. We've talked about that. It's just taking care of the ball, making really good decisions, and how can we create space that we can get 2 feet into paint to create a little bit more high percentage shots. So, Stewie's not shooting the ball well at the moment. We know she will. She is the MVP. So it's quickly going to change. But as long as we've got a real good balance of inside and outside attack, I think we'll be okay.
Hi, Sandy. Tonight is game 1 of the Commissioner's Cup. So I'm just curious what the team's approach to it is, with it being this new format and it being very tight and just, it's not as spread out as it was last year. Yeah,
no, not at all. It's like a World Cup. We've all played for our countries, and so winning is you try and win as many as you can, and if you can, it's winning by as much as you can. So, the FIBA rules are a little bit... that's the advantage that you have, because if it comes back to a tied game, all the other things come into play. So it's making sure every minute of the game is important for us. And regardless if we're up by 20 or down, we've got to try and win by as much as we can or lose by as much as we can. But hopefully we'll be winning.
And also, since these are games of consequence, I'm just curious what the balance is like, where you're trying to figure out the bench and how they work. Obviously, Niara is out tonight, which leaves some opportunity for KB. So how do you sort of balance those two things?
Well, obviously KB gets an opportunity here too. We know KT can go into the 4. You give them that, they're going to get an opportunity. Sluti's back. We'll get those rotations right. But, I think most teams rely on their starting 5 anyway, and how we can plug everyone else in. And I think we saw what KT did last game, so we want to make sure that we're keeping her minutes as consistent as we can.
Hey, Coach.
Sorry, Fever.
You just mentioned Courtney's back and good to go.
Yeah, Courtney, she feels good today, so excited to have her back.
And then Niara's out.
Niara's out, yes.
Last season we saw KT a little bit at the 5. Is that something you might look to again this season?
Move to the what?
Well, last year with injuries, we saw Kayla Thornton move to the center position a little bit.
Yeah, more 4. Wouldn't put her in the 5 against Boston. But yeah. Definitely. I think she has that. She's a versatile player. We've got players that can, they're interchangeable, can play inside, they can play outside. And yeah, I think at times we'll see how the flow of the game is going. But yeah, I think that's a possibility.
Is there some sort of timeline with Sabali's injury, or is it just day to day?
Yeah, look, I think we just have to go day by day for now and see how quickly she recovers. So that's the information I've been given, so we'll go with that.
Sandy, Indiana's been complaining a lot about hard fouls on Caitlin. I'm sure you saw the Chicago thing. So what do you think is going on with that? Are teams trying to get in Clark's head, or is it she's the number 1 pick, and or what do you think is happening?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that foul, that was probably inappropriate. That's not what we do. I think every team is playing physical. I mean, our games have been all physical, but there's you're playing basketball. So, stay within the rules of basketball, and we're in good shape. I don't think we take away the physicality. Caitlin's, she's a fabulous player, so she's going to get a lot of attention naturally. And I think she's handled herself brilliantly, to be quite honest. It's tough for a young kid, but she's got the skills, and she's going to be an amazing pro player.
The Cup is a nice benchmark part of the season. Would it be don't know, does that add any confidence to you that the team is 6-2 and still not playing at their best at this part of the season?
Yeah, we're 6-2. We haven't played our best ball, so there's no need to panic. I certainly wouldn't, panic. It's a long season. We just got to keep figuring it out. We've had some really good minutes in the games. It's more, for me, it's more about consistency now. Not getting too hot. We get up by a lot and then we allow them back in. We've got to just a little bit more, understanding. Keep the foot on the pedal as much as we can, and that's an area of growth that we have to work on, and that's our goal for this Commissioner's Cup. Obviously, is to win, play good basketball, but be consistent.
Coach, given that the Liberty have averaged an impressive 29 assists per game against Indiana last year, how crucial is ball movement and assisting tonight? Yeah,
look, I think it's always critical for regardless of who we're playing. But I think, Sluty, getting her going a little bit. We've got one of the best assist players in the league in Courtney Vandersloot. And you know what Sabrina's capable of. I think if we can get some stops and get out and run, we'll get some easy baskets. And, our assists would probably be higher than it was last year if we would make some more open looks. So hopefully they're going to start dropping.
How important is the defense tonight?
Oh, it's important every night. Really, we got to be a defensive first team, and some nights we're better than others. But we've played Indiana well, but I think they're getting, they're figuring it out. They're figuring it out, so it becomes, last night they're having 4 to 5 players in double figures. They're hard. If Kelsey Mitchell starts going off too, that makes it a little bit harder. They got the inside presence as well. But defense, we have our schemes in place and we just got to go out there and do it aggressively and hopefully, it's 5 players on the same page at all times. Chris, would you like one?
Yes, just one.
Go, Chris. Sorry, I'm doing your job. He was waving at me, so I thought.
Sandy, thank you. A lot of coaches that I've heard and I've talked to have said with the schedule the way it is this year and not having enough practice time has played a huge role, especially with these younger teams that have just been formed. Just how has it been for you, and how do you look at that across the board?
Yeah, I think everyone's in the same boat. It doesn't matter, younger ones, you want more time with them. For us, we had our core group come back, but then we had our young ones not here. And then no practice. So they're working as hard as we can. All you can learn is by showing the video and hopefully just keep showing the things over and over again because we're making the same kind of mistakes. So it's like, okay, this is what we're trying to do. But we're all in the same boat. So, we have a tough Commissioner's Cup week coming up. So there's a lot of video the last few games. It's just what you have to do at this stage of the year. And you just encourage those younger ones as like, they work with the individual coaches, but also make sure that they're staying confident because, it's tough. Everyone wants to do well.
Thanks, Coach.
Guys.